Daniel Ezra is leaving All-American after 6 seasons. Spencer's goodbye. Now it all makes sense. After watching episode 10, this all makes sense now. So he's not leaving the show for good, but he is leaving the main cast. He's going to come back in future episodes as a guest star. And that would make sense because I've seen other shows crash and burn after the main character left the show. After making the difficult decision to leave All-American, my sole focus became completing the journey of the most life-affirming character I've ever played in the manner he deserves, Ezra said in a statement. So he doesn't really say why he's leaving the show. I mean, it could be for personal reasons, might have something to do with money. It could be creative differences between the writers or other people on the show. I'm not saying that this show was going to crash and burn because it is very popular. A lot of people still watch it. And I don't know, but it is going to be very different after he leaves the show. Have you seen episode 10 of All-American? Because they crammed a lot, and I do mean a lot. So here's a quick recap to get you up to speed. So JJ up in the corner up here, he's just gone. He's been on here since like season 1, and for some reason he just left the show. They just wrote his character off like his character wasn't even important, like it was never a big deal. Not really much of an explanation after he left, and it was just like there's been no mention of him since. Like none of the characters ever mentioned him. It was like, well, JJ, he just went overseas to find himself, and he just never came back, and there's been no mention of him ever since. Olivia spent some time over in the UK, came back home, and she wrote a book for her father. In the last episode, the book was doing pretty well. Like, she's been selling a lot of books. And you know how Patience and Coop are always like back and forth. So Patience finally decided to take a job offer in New York City, and Coop decided to be supportive and follow her and relocate to New York City. And then also, she's going to be attending law school while she's living in New York. Asher is still trying to navigate through fatherhood and trying to find a new career path because you know at the college, the new head coach kind of screwed him out of a job. So yeah, he's still trying to figure some things out. Jordan and Layla finally got married, and Jordan is still playing football in college. Spencer finally gets drafted by a team in New York. There's a 10-month time jump. His team makes it all the way to the Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl. His rookie season, he gets Super Bowl MVP, and then he decides to pop the question to Olivia on the 22nd yard line because you remember that was her father's jersey number. It was 22. So there you go. Have you guys ever seen a show called Suits? Everyone is tuning in because they like the main character, right? And whenever I see a situation where I see a main character leaving a popular television show, I like to call it the Meghan Markle effect. Let me explain. So this is what I mean by the whole Meghan Markle effect. So Suits came out in 2011. So from 2011 to 2017, she was on Suits for 7 seasons, right? 7 seasons. Now her character married the main character, who was Mike Ross. Her character married the main character, and as a result of her deciding to leave the show after she started dating Prince Harry in 2017, he had to leave the show too. So she left, then he left, and I think the show went on for like 2 more seasons, so it went all the way up to like season 9. And they brought him back for like 2 or 3 episodes, and that was pretty much it. But she never came back. They could have easily found another actress to replace her. And that way, these 2 characters, and they could have continued on and just had, like better storylines written for them too, like in the remaining seasons. But for some reason, I guess how I guess you have a bunch of actors and actresses on the show, and I guess the chemistry is really good, and I guess they don't want to mess that chemistry up. I mean, I'm not saying she can't have a personal life. I'm just saying if you sign up to do a job, can't you at least just finish the job before you move on? That's all I'm saying. Just a thought. I'm pretty sure that he's the reason why millions of viewers started tuning into the show in the first place, and they kept watching the show because it was so good, right? Not saying that the show is going to get canceled after next season, but it might. I know people are going to start tuning out. At least that was the case for me when I was watching Suits. Like after the main character left the show, I just stopped watching it. I eventually went back and watched the last 2 seasons, but while it was still on the air, I just stopped watching the show.